In 2022, in my channel, we are going back to the dawn of human civilization with this epic documentary. That's right, this is the entire history of human civilization from the very beginning all the way up until today. This is definitely one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, covering so much material without feeling like it's too fast or too slow. And the footage is absolutely gorgeous. You will see the most incredible ancient sites in the world, as well as modern marvels. Let's begin. Early humans, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, lived in small nomadic groups across the planet. For hundreds of thousands of years, they used rudimentary stone tools for hunting and gathering food and had no permanent settlements. However, around 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, humans began to settle down in one place and grow their own food through agriculture. This marked the beginning of civilization. Humans domesticated animals and grew crops and lived in settled communities. They also developed more advanced technologies such as the wheel and the plow. As humans continued to develop new technologies and new ways of organizing their societies, they eventually formed the first civilizations. These early civilizations, such as those in Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, developed complex social structures, including cities, governments, and legal systems. They also developed writing systems and made significant advancements in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Over the centuries, new civilizations rose to power in different parts of the world, each with its own unique culture and achievements. In ancient Greece, philosophers explored new ideas about democracy, logic, and science. The Romans developed a vast empire that spanned much of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Meanwhile, in India, Buddhism and Jainism emerged as major religions. And in China, the Silk Road connected China to the rest of the world and facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. During the Middle Ages, Europe was dominated by the Roman Catholic Church and feudalism. The Renaissance marked a renewed interest in classical art and culture and the beginning of modern science. During this time, powerful kingdoms and empires flourished in Africa, Asia, and the Americas. The Aztec Empire in particular thrived with a complex society and impressive architecture, including the iconic Teotihuacan pyramids. The Age of Exploration saw European powers race to explore and conquer new lands in the Americas, Africa, and Asia. This era marked the beginning of globalization and the interconnectedness of the world's economies, cultures, and environments. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries led to massive technological advancements, urbanization, and new social classes. As we move into the 20th century, we see the rise of new ideologies such as communism and fascism, as well as two devastating world wars. The Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union dominated the latter half of the century. But during this time, important advances were made in civil rights, technology, and space exploration. The first humans walked on the moon in 1969, and the Internet was invented in the late 20th century. Today, we live in a globalized world where information and goods can be exchanged instantly across the planet. Technology continues to advance at a rapid pace, and humanity faces new challenges such as climate change and pandemics. But we also have the opportunity to use our knowledge and innovation to create a better future for all of humanity. Humans have been farming for nearly 10,000 years. In that time, we've become incredibly efficient at producing food. But what does that mean for the planet? How has farming changed over the past 10 millennia? And what does the future hold for agriculture? The story of agriculture begins around 10,000 BCE, when humans began to domesticate plants and animals. This allowed them to settle down in one place and grow their own food, instead of having to wander around following herds of animals. The first domesticated plants were grains such as wheat and barley, while the first domesticated animals were sheep and goats. Over time, humans continued to domesticate more plants and animals, and agriculture became more sophisticated. In ancient Egypt, farmers used the flooding of the Nile River to water their crops, and in Mesopotamia, They developed irrigation systems to distribute water from the rivers to their fields. The invention of the plow also helped farmers to till the soil more efficiently. During the Middle Ages, new farming technologies such as the heavy plow allowed farmers to cultivate heavier soils, which led to increased food production in Europe. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries brought about new agricultural technologies such as the seed drill, which allowed for more precise planting of seeds. The Green Revolution in the 20th century saw the development of new high-yielding crops and synthetic fertilizers, which led to a dramatic increase in food production. Today, modern technology has transformed agriculture even further. Farmers use precision agriculture techniques to optimize the use of resources such as water and fertilizer. They also use genetically modified organisms, GMOs, to develop crops that are resistant to pests or that have desirable traits such as increased nutrition. Looking to the future, we can expect to see even more changes in agriculture. One of the biggest challenges facing agriculture today is feeding a growing population. According to the United Nations, the world population is expected to reach 9.7 billion by 2050. This means that we will need to produce more food in the next 30 years than we have in the entire history of agriculture. Another challenge facing agriculture is climate change. The effects of climate change, such as rising temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, and more frequent extreme weather events, are already being felt around the world. These changes can have a devastating impact on crops and livestock, leading to food shortages and price increases. However, there are also opportunities for innovation in agriculture. One of the biggest opportunities is the use of technology. Precision agriculture, drones, artificial intelligence, and other technologies can help farmers to produce more food while using fewer resources. Another opportunity is the use of alternative proteins such as those from insects and algae. These alternative proteins could help to reduce the environmental impact of agriculture and provide a new source of nutrition for people around the world. Ancient Egyptian civilization began around 3100 BCE along the Nile River in northeast Africa. This period marks the beginning of organized society with established rules and hierarchies, signifying the birth of civilization. Ancient Egyptian civilization lasted for over 3,000 years until the arrival of Alexander the Great in 332 BCE. This extended duration contributed to the growth of numerous cities and the construction of iconic structures like the Great Pyramid of Giza, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Ancient Egypt played a pivotal role in shaping early human history due to its longevity and influence. The annual flooding of the Nile River provided fertile soil, enabling the cultivation of crops and supporting a large population. This abundance led to specialization of labor and the emergence of various crafts, trades, and social classes. Egyptians developed hieroglyphic writing and kept detailed records of their activities, providing invaluable insights into their customs, beliefs, and daily life. The ancient Egyptians believed in a complex system of gods and goddesses and built massive temples and monuments in their honor. Religion was deeply ingrained in their society and influenced their art, architecture, and daily practices. The pharaohs were considered divine rulers and were mummified after death, reflecting their belief in the afterlife. Egyptian civilization significantly advanced in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. They developed a solar calendar with 365 days, divided the year into 12 months, and accurately predicted the annual flooding of the Nile. Their innovations in medicine, including surgical procedures and treatments for various ailments, were remarkable for the time period. Egypt's strategic location facilitated trade along the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, connecting them to other civilizations such as the Greeks, Romans, and Mesopotamians. However, external influences had limited impact on core Egyptian traditions and cultural practices. Despite its rich history and contributions to human civilization, ancient Egyptian society eventually declined due to internal conflicts, economic instability, and environmental changes. Alexander the Great's conquest of Egypt in 332 BCE marked the end of an era, giving way to the Hellenistic and Roman periods. Ancient Mesopotamia is widely recognized as the cradle of human civilization. Located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in present-day Iraq, Kuwait, and Turkey, this region witnessed the emergence of some of the earliest known human settlements. Mesopotamia holds immense historical significance as the birthplace of fundamental elements of human society, including cities, states, organized religion, mathematics, astronomy, law, and written language. The Fertile Crescent, encompassing parts of Mesopotamia, is believed to be where humans first settled and started cultivating crops and domesticating animals around 10,000 BC during the Neolithic period. This shift from a nomadic hunting-gathering lifestyle to settled agriculture allowed for the accumulation of food surpluses and the specialization of labor, laying the foundation for the development of complex societies. Sumer is often credited as the first civilization in Mesopotamia, emerging around 2800 BC with the establishment of city-states such as Ur, Uruk, and Lagash. Sumerian culture made significant contributions, including the invention of the plow and the wheel, the development of a number system based on 60, and the creation of the first known written language using cuneiform script. Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian empires followed, expanding and dominating various regions of Mesopotamia. The Code of Hammurabi, a comprehensive set of laws established by the Babylonians, is among the earliest known legal codes and provides insight into the social norms and values of ancient Mesopotamian society. Mesopotamian religion was polytheistic, with deities associated with natural phenomena such as the sun, moon, and stars. Temples served as centers of religious and economic activity, and priests held considerable influence. The Epic of Gilgamesh, an epic poem from ancient Mesopotamia, is considered one of the oldest surviving works of literature and explores themes of mortality, friendship, and heroism. As trade routes expanded, Mesopotamia became a hub for cultural exchange, connecting merchants and travelers from distant lands. However, frequent conflicts over control of resources and strategic locations shaped the political landscape. Environmental challenges, including soil salination and water scarcity, also impacted the region's stability. Despite its rich history and cultural contributions, ancient Mesopotamia eventually declined. The Assyrian Empire's brutal tactics and the Neo-Babylonian Empire's reliance on foreign rulers contributed to its downfall. The region's fertile lands continued to attract settlers, but subsequent empires failed to match the cultural and intellectual achievements of earlier Mesopotamian civilizations. Ancient Mesopotamia's legacy, however, lives on through its lasting impact on human civilization, having profoundly influenced subsequent cultures and shaping the course of history. Let me know in the comments what you think the greatest accomplishment of ancient man was. If you enjoyed this video, then check out these epic documentaries next. Thanks for watching.